Several meteorologists, including lines 1, 4, and 13, experienced major distortion as the water swept in the station. Commuters forced long delay with a rapid urgent reasons to avoid necessary travel. Power outage left more than 25,000 homes in the dark, particularly in the Paris southern suburbs. The storm also damaged parts in the Eiffel Tower lighting system, forcing engineers to shut it off to safety inspirations. Lighting stuck near Notre Dame Cathedral, creating dramatic by the homeless flash captured by onlookers. Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo urged calm, praising first response to the swift action. Our city was forced severe weather before, but the intensity of the last night's storm show how climate change is amplifying these events, she said. We will assist all those affected. They strengthened our flood resilience. Meteorologists described the storm as one of the most violent in decades as a result of a powerful Atlantic depression scalding with warm continental air from the northern France. Experts warn that such extreme weather events could become more frequent if Europe's climate continues to warm. By morning, Parisians emergency to survive the damaged streets, literally the branches flooded cave terrace and disrupted train schedule. Yet a month aftermath when also relief, clear skies returned the city resilient spirit shone through the once again. Uprooted trees and damaged power lines. It sounded like a fire train rushed through the city, say Munich resident Johannes Keller, describing the terrifying moment when the storm hit. France faced severe coastal flooding, especially along the Atlantic coast. In a vortex, storm surge flooded streets with strong winds, more window and overturned car. Local authorities declared a state of emergency and urged cities to stay indoors. We haven't seen conditions like this in decades, say Major Alice Laurent. In Catalonia region of Spain, flash floods washed away cars and caused landslides in the mountain area. Rail and air travel were disrupted and hundreds of flights across Europe cancelled. Meteorologist service confirmed that the storm area received more than 115 millimeters of rainfall in less of 24 hours. Experts warn of the weather in Europe is becoming increasingly unstable. Storm in this magnitude used to occur on every 20 years. Farmers estimated the dramatic it's $1 million euros, especially in vineyards that produced world-famous wines. It's devastating, said Jean-Paul Lefroy, a winemaker near Lyon. In just 10 minutes, the works in the entire season was destroyed. Further east in Croatia and Slovenia, hailstones the size of eggs smashed windows and stripped streets bare. Emergency service worked through the night and cleared debris to restore power to affected areas. Local authority described the damage as serious and extensive. Meteorologists across Europe are linking the surge in severe hailstorm to rising temperature and atmospheric instability. The Mediterranean is warming faster than the global average, warning climatologist Dr. Giulia Conti. This created ideal conditions to explosive storm to formation of giant hailstorm. The European Severe Laboratory reported that more than 400 hail-related incidents were recorded in 34 hours, of extremely high number of October. Experts warn that such events once considered rare and now becoming more common due to the effects of climate change. Cleanup efforts are underway across the continent and insurance companies are assessing the extent of the damage. From broken skylights in Rome and flooded streets in Munich and stories fury that what yet another stark reminder that Europe weather is becoming more unpredictable and dangerous than ever before. Train service was suspended in several provinces, and dozens of flights were cancelled. He rerouted the Charles of Gaulle and Orly airport. In a Burlex vineyard already vacated the wet summer suffered for the damage, raising fears and a poor harvest. We have lost entire section of our vineyard, explained Windmarker Claire Roseau. This is a devastation blow to our livelihood. In French, entire minister deployed 3,500 firefighters, and the regional governor urged residents to stay indoors. 2 deaths have been confirmed, including the driver who was gassed and crushed in the fallen trees. Meteorologists said the storm was caused by the warm Atlantic air cooled in with a cold Arctic system, resulting in a strong wind. Such events are becoming more frequent in the intense, warned climatologist Dr. Jean Morrell, linking the storm to changing climate conditions. President Emmanuel Macron experienced solidarity with the affected families, promising rapid assistance to fund the recovery. But for many residents, the night of destruction will not forget anytime soon. We had stormed before, said local teacher Sophie Laurent from Naples, but never anything that should to it so much. Farmers in Lower Saxony reported devastation, losers in their crops and greenhouses, and about destroyed it. Insurance experts warned that the damage could be cost millions, placing in additional body and economy elderly and person. Germany Chancellor Olaf Scholz expressed condolences of the family to the victims and promised swift federal aid. We stand together in the face of this catastrophe, he said, adding the climate adaptation must become a national priority. Meteorologists warned the storm and the magnitude may become more frequent as a warning season to call unstoppable weather across North Europe. At a time, rescue operations continue in flooded town in a mountains valley, with the soldiers, firefighters and volunteers walking side by side. For many Germans, in storm will be remembered not only the force but a stark reminder of the growing risk of climate change. A powerful storm system was battered much of Europe, leaving a trail of destruction, transport, chaos and a human tragedy in this way. The storm, which brought hurricane-force wind, torrential rain and heavy snowfall in high areas, has affected countries such as France, Germany, Poland, Austria and Balkans. In a Paris, wind knocked down trees and damaged roofs, while trains and flights were delayed. In Bavaria, Germany, hail and strong gas battered small town, breaking windows and damaged vehicles. The Netherlands reported severe coastal flooding as waves to 6-meter high hit decks and pots. Authorities confirmed at least a dozen fatalities across the continent, including drivers caught in flash flooding and presses stands stuck by fallen debris. Hundreds of thousands of homes were left without power overnight, and emergency service received thousands of calls. Witnesses described terrified conditions. The roof of our town was lifted up and a few away in where paper said Nowak in the South Poland. In Austria, sky reports were cut off by avalanches, trapped tourists and the staff. Southern Germany has been hit by relating after a violent hailstorm battered Bavaria, shattered with windows, damaged rooftops, and leaving residents standing by the scale of destruction. The storm swept across the region with a little warning, unleashing hailstones the large of a tennis ball. Streets in Munich, Augsburg, and surrounding towns were carpeted in ice, with the cars were left dented with white shifts smashed. It was like gunfire from the sky, said Klaus Richter, a resident of Augsburg. A hospital treated dozens of people to their cars, burst and hit injuries. Children and elderly were most affected, with the emergency responded rushing to provide shelter in a school and a sports hall in the rural area. The storm was equally devastated. Groups of borzoi, maize, and a vineyard across Bavaria were pumped, with the farmers reported losses that could total tens of millions of euros. Transport ground to the Kiel, trains were delayed, the stock were blocked, fallen branches that the breeze were parted from Munich airport were disrupted due to damaged aircraft and poor visibility. Highway torn hazards with their multiple accidents caused the slippery and ice-covered roads. Tourists were also cut off in the chaos. Visitors to Neuschwanstein Castle and Bavaria, farmers Alpine village showed a dramatic image for the hail building up for the snowdrifts with local accompanied the summer storm to the winter blizzard. Meteorologists explained that the hailstorm was triggered by unstoppable air masses, colliding the southern Germany, intensified by record summer heat. Climate experts warn that extreme hail events are becoming more frequent across the Europe, pressing homes, agriculture, and infrastructure under increasing threat. Communities across Europe are in shock after a series of rare and powerful tornadoes swept through the parts of Germany, France, and Czech Republic, leaving widespread destruction in their wake. Authorities have confirmed numerous casualties and more than 200 injured, with the homes destroyed, cars overturned, and power lines down it. Western Germany was the hardest hit, with the powerful wind which swept throughout the residential area, poured down, injured dozens of people, and damaged hundreds of buildings. Roofs were turned off, trees were uprooted, and debris was scattered across highways. It was like a faint rain rushing throughout the city, said Catherine Miller, who took shelter in a basement with their family. In northern France, a tornado struck near Calais, overturned trucks on the A18 motorway and forcing several paths to close. Residents are decided chaos in the hail, lightning, and stone-swinging battered cities already drenched in the heavy rain. The Czech Republic, still resilient from the devastation tornado in 2021, reported another several storm in southern Bavaria, where homes and farms again destroyed it. Emergency service rushed to help stranded residents and volunteers working through the night to clear debris from narrow rural streets. Meteorologists say the tornadoes formed after the mass of hot Mediterranean air collided with a cold front moving from the Arctic, creating unstoppable conditions ideal to supercell storms. Experts warn that the climate change could make Europe more vulnerable to such rare but devastating events. Tornadoes were once considered almost impossible here, explained climatologist Dr. Helena Novak. Now they are becoming a dangerous new reality. The infrastructure of the three countries suffered serious damage. Rail service was suspended, tens of thousands of people were left without power due to power outage, and schools were closed to several regions. Insurance companies estimate the damage in the hundreds of millions of euros. Despite the devastation, there are stories of resilience. Neighbors formed human change of cleared debris, firefighters rescued trapped families, and the shelters opened their doors to lose their homes. As Europe begins the long process of recovery, the tornado several stuck reminding that extreme weather is no longer confined to remote regions. It now processes to grow through to here to the continent. Several European countries are assessing the damage after severe hailstorm swept across the continent, leaving a trail of destruction from France and Italy to Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. The storm intensified the unstoppable air masses that collided over Central Europe, produced hailstones the size of a tennis ball that mashed a car, damaged roofs, and injured hundreds of people. In northern Italy, cities in Lombardy and Veneto saw streets covered in ice, and hospitals treated dozens and partying for cuts in a heat dead injury caused by broken glass. In Bavaria, Germany, cars were left covered in dents and vineyards suffered catastrophic damage. It was like bombing, saying Hans Killer, a farmer's near Munich. In 10 minutes, our entire harvest were destroyed. Austria, also facing chaos in emergency service, responded to collapsed roofs and blocked highways. In Switzerland, tourists in Lorenzo and Alps captured dramatic footage in hailstorms, spilled it up like snowdrifts, transformed summer landscape in winter owns. Flights in Zurich and Geneva airports were delayed and cancelled after hail damaged parked planes. Meteorologists said the storm was caused by the collisions between the Mediterranean air and the cold northern front, exactly than the recorded summer heat across Europe. Scientists warn that climate change is contributed to more frequent and destructive hailstorms and in the continent growing climate-related problems. Agriculture has been hit hardest, heat damaged estimates of hundreds and millions of euros. Vineyard, orange and cornfield across Central Europe has been destroyed, threatening both in local economy and a food supply chain. Insurance companies are already preparing for one of the most expensive weather events in the year. Government has promised to provide assistance and clean up on the aftermath and the initial disaster by sending soldiers in the rural area to clear roads and protect damaged homes from the further rain. However, for the many residents, the storm was stuck remaining in the increasing severity of extreme weather events. Ile-de-France region, bringing hurricane force winds, torrential rain and intense lighting that lit up the Parisian skyline. When our iconic boulevards were transformed into rivers, metro stations were flooded and thousands were left without electricity. According to Meteo France, when the gust exceeded 120 km/h in parts of the capital, with more than 16 millimeters of rainfall in just 3 hours, an amount normally seen over several weeks. The Seine River rose rapidly and water poured in unprecedented to underground car park near the city center. I feel like the sky exploded, said Marie Larrier, a resident of Montreal district. It was a thunder every few seconds, windows shaking and water gushing through the streets like a waterfall. Emergency service received over 1,200 calls during the night, rescuing driving trapped in submerged tunnels and responded to multiple reports of fallen trees. In the 15th arrondissement, the large earth collapsing out parked vehicles were parts of the Champs-Élysées were perilously closed due to debris. We are dealing with a widespread roof damaging power outage, said Bavarian Fire Chief Markus Keller, who described the situation as apocalyptic. In southern France, vineyard and orange severely damaged, with some region reported a total loss of crops. Farmers in province of Rhône-Alpes region experienced a disaster after huge hailstones destroyed their vineyards. The storm took everything. Lamented Windmark Paul Gerard, the harvest we have been waiting for all year is gone. In Central and Eastern Europe, hailstorm intensified. In Poland, the city of Krakow was hit by torrential rain, with freezing rain that flooded streets and damaged cars. In Austria, large hailstorms caused flights, delays and forced airports at the close temperatures. Meteorologists attributed this storm weather is unstable atmospheric layers, which are intensified due to global warming. Europe is now experiencing for more connective storms, phenomena accompanied by supercell lightning and giant hailstorms, explained Dr. Petra Long in the European Meteorological Observatory. This is not a longer rarity, is becoming part of new normal. authorities across the continent continue to assess the damage, warning the future determination in weather conditions, while cleanup crews work to repair the damage caused by the ice storm. Many residents describe the surreal scene. Summer trees transformed into winter landscape in a matter of minutes. A sudden and severe hailstorm swept across southern Poland, leaving scene of destruction in its wake and prompted urgent calls to help. The storm, which struck on a Monday evening, battered towns and villages with a hailstone the size of walnuts, smashing windows, damaged cars, and destroyed crops in the middle of the harvest season. Farmers in the Motopolska and Podkamparsia region reported catastrophic losses. In the 10 minutes, everything he had worked in the year was destroyed, said Poret Novak, a farmer from the near Tarnow. The fields looked as if someone had chopped them up with the knives. Agriculture representative estimated hundreds of hectares of corn, potatoes and orange have been destroyed, with the could lead higher food prices in the coming month. Residents described chaos, and the hail-pounded roofs and blanket rain caused sudden flooding in the city streets. Emergency service responded to hundreds of calls, and a fire crews worked through the night and cleared debris and secured damaged homes. Fortunately, no deaths were reported, although several people suffered minor injuries from the broken glass. Local authorities are assessing the damage, with estimated to be tens of millions of euros. The Polish Meteorological Institute was warned for the Celtic cold. More storms in the coming days are unstoppable weather continue to prevail in Central Europe. Climatologists note in the frequency of such extreme weather events increasing. Hailstorms of this intensity used to be a rare phenomenon, but climate change is affecting weather conditions across the continent, said Dr. Marta Zelinska, and the climatologist of University of Warsaw. For many, recovery will be long and difficult. We will build everything, but it seems that nature is tasting other more year, said resident Anna Kowalska, standing near the destroyed greenhouse.
Nein, lass es. Ja, ich lasse es.
A powerful Atlantic storm swept across much of Europe, bringing hurricane-force winds, torrential rain, and chaos in several countries, from the Atlantic coast of France and inland cities in Germany. Millions of people forced transport disruption, and emergency service worked at full capacity. In France, wind gusts exceeded 115 km/h, knocked down trees, cut power to more than 400,000 homes, and forced several airports to close. It sounded like a fire train was passing through our streets, said Louis Martin, the residents of Brittany, where roads had blocked overnight. Southern Germany was hit by severe flooding when rivers burst at their banks. In Bavaria, rescue evacuated dozens of residents by boat after the local dam threatened to overflow. We never seen the water rise too fast, explained firefighters Karl Neumann. Rail service in the region remains severely disrupted. In the Netherlands, authorities temporarily closed its section to famous Afdijk dam due to fear and a coastal wave. Meanwhile, Poland and Czech Republic reported widespread hailstorm that severely damaged cars and crops. The Spanish Meteorological Service has declared a red alert for the eastern parts of the Valencia region due to heavy rain. Thursday, a repeat of the flooding that killed 235 people in the area last October. Spanish National Meteorological Service warned of extreme danger and a very difficult situation in Tarragona, Castellón and Valencia on a Sunday and Monday. On this warning was echoed Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez. Citing of meteorological warning, Sánchez urged citizens to follow the instruction of the emergency service to all times. Local official announced that school and college libraries and parks, as well as public space including gardens, markets and cemeteries, would be closed in the Valencia on a Monday. Overnight rains caused local flooding and overflowing of Arroyo Aldea, one of the town hardest hit by October 2024 flooding that killed more than 213 people. No casualties have been reported. On a Sunday afternoon, residents of the city received a red weather alert on this phone. The flooding caused by heavy rains in October last year were exacerbated by the effect of climate change. As a warning atmosphere holds mother water, climate change increasing the risk and intensity of the flood from extreme rainfall. Local residents struggled to a series of protests against for the believed this mismanagement of last year's crisis calamity. The regional offices did not warn in the time, despite the fact that Meteorological Service had issued warning. Several music festivals and outdoors events were cancelled, leaving thousands of visitors stranded at makeshift shelters. Switzerland too reported significant damage. In Zurich and Lorenzo, public transport was suspended as a hail closed rail lines and flooded tram tunnels. Airways saw delays, where insurers prepared for the decided one of the most expensive summer storms in recent years. Hospitals across affected countries treated hundreds of injuries from cuts of barriers and the most serious trauma caused by the fallen debris. Power outage hit tens of thousands of homes while schools and businesses closed in the hardest hit regions. Meteorologists explained that the storm was triggered by the collisions of humid Mediterranean air with the cold northern winds, producing intense supercells capable of generating giant hail. Scientists warn such events are becoming more frequent as Europe warned. We are seeing a climate shift, say climatologist Dr. Eva Chinder. Storms like these, once rare, are now growing through it. Despite the disruption, communities are relevant. Volunteers cleared streets of ice, neighborhood sheltered fruits and extended travels, and emergency crew worked tirelessly to restore power. As Europe began counting the cost and a hailstorm severe as another stark reminder of nature growing volatility and the urgent need to resilience and efforts of climate experts. Local authorities reported thousands of homes temporarily without electricity. The intensity of the rainfall overlapped the city drainage system, officials said. Farmers across southern Spain also suffered major losses. The high of the size of a golf ball damaged crops and greenhouse. This storm destroyed weeks of work, leading it to farmer near Seville. Experts warn that such extreme weather events are becoming more frequent due to climate change. Weather aid Hood, Mama is through with a full, more violent storm, explained climatologist Dr. Giulia Ortega. As the storm moves eastward toward the Mediterranean, cleanup efforts are underway, but many Spaniards are shockingly remain. A violent storm wreaked havoc across large parts of the Europe, bringing torrential rain, strong winds and widespread flooding that paralyzed both cities and rural communities. The storm, one of the strongest in recent years, that hit countries from Spain, France and Germany and Poland, leaving millions of people affected. In the northern Italy, roads turned into rivers. In a matter of hours, the rescue service struggled to save motorists who were trapped in Bavaria, Germany. Entire areas were left without power and winds exceeding 113 km/h.